Hi everybody, welcome back. We're on page 139. Again, this is the homework helper page. Today, we're going to be building on what we did yesterday. We're going to be adding multiples of hundreds. So not just 100, but maybe 500, 700. And we're going to use two different ways. We can just do it mental math, right? We can just know that 400 is going to be added to the 3-digit because that's the hundreds place. 4 and 3 is 7, so we're going to have 774. We can use the arrow way where we are counting up from one number to get to the other number. Or we can use number bond. So we can decompose, isolate the hundreds so that we can subtract hundreds or add hundreds and then put the other part back in. So those are the two strategies we're going to be using today. Go ahead and turn. We're on page 141 now. In this first part, we did this in class too. It's just trying to help you understand. If we say the number in unit form, so we have 4 hundreds, 5 tens, 2 hundreds, plus 2 hundreds, then we are going to have how many hundreds at the end? This is like doing the number bond where you're taking those tens out. We have 4 hundreds plus 2 hundreds. Going to leave us with 6 hundreds, and then we still have those 5 tens. So 400, 5 tens is 450. If we add 200 more, we're going to have 6 in the hundreds place, 5 tens, and we don't have any ones. So up here, we can just use mental math, or we can decompose. And you have this whole empty space over here. So if you want to use one of the other strategies, you can. If you want to use a number bond or the arrow way. But for right now, this isn't that hard to do in your head. We are going to add the hundreds. We have 200 plus 300. 2 plus 3 is 5. So we're going to have 500. And then our tens and ones haven't changed because here there's nothing. We are just changing this one. We can also count up. So we have 220 and we're going to count up 3 more hundreds. So 220, 320, 420, 520. So here we go, we have 230, and now we're going to add 5 more hundreds. So we can count up 5 more from 230, 330, 430, 530, 630, 730, or we can just say 2 plus 5. 2 hundreds plus 5 hundreds is 7 hundreds, and our tens and ones haven't changed. So either of those is a good way. Counting up, which is kind of like the arrow way, or just doing mental math, which is sort of taking out those tens, which is the number bond way. So we've got 200 and 400, which is going to be 600. We still have our tens and ones. I would suggest that you pause the video, solve them yourself, and then come back to see to check your work. 400s plus 300s. 4 plus 3 is 7. So we're going to have 7 hundreds. Tens and ones don't change. This time let's count up. We have 386. We're going to add 5 more hundreds. So we go from 386 to 486, 586, 686, 786, 886. 3 plus 5 is 8. 700s and 200s is 900. Ooh, here we have a missing part. So we can count up from 119 to get to 519. We're going to be just changing the hundreds because the tens and ones aren't changing at all. 19 here, 19 here. So let's see how many we have to count up to get to 500. So we have 119, 219, 319, 419, 519. How many did we add? 4. We added 400 to get to 519. Going to do the same thing here. We have 272. We're going to add something to get until we get to 872. 272. 372, 472, 572, 672, 772, 872. How many did we have to add? 6 more hundreds there. 6 plus 2 is 8. So, I don't think I'm going to need to count up at all. What's changing from 62 to 562? Only the hundreds changed. How many hundreds are here? 0. So how many do we have to add to get 5? 5. So 602 plus 500, that 6 and 2 would just slide over our ones. All right, we're going to do the same thing at the bottom, except that at the bottom we are subtracting. So I have 430. We're going to take 2 of those hundreds away. I have 4 hundreds. If I take 2 away, how many do I have? I only have 200, and then my tens and ones are staying the same. Oh, I forgot the part at the top. I'm so sorry. 500, 8 ones. 500s, 8 ones. So there's no tens at all here. I'm going to take away 3 of those hundreds. So if I had 5 and I take 3, how many are left? 2 hundreds. How many tens are there? Nothing. And our ones won't change. So we have 508 minus 300 gives us 208. 500, we're taking away 300. 5 minus 3 gives us 250. Here we don't know. But remember, if we are missing a part, we subtract. We have our whole, and we have one part. So 860 minus this will give you 360. But 860 minus 360 will give you this number. So we can subtract those, or we can just count back because our tens and ones aren't changing. We are only changing our hundreds. So we have 8, and we need to take away until we get to 3. Well, I see 3 right here. How many would I need to take away to get to 3? I'm going to take those 5 away. So 860 minus 500 will give me 360. I have 600s. I'm taking away 200. 6 minus 2, give me 400. My tens and ones don't change. 700 minus 500. 7 minus 5 is 200. My tens and ones don't change. 836 minus 400. So I had 800s. I'm going to take 4 of them away. Use your fingers if you want to, or you might know this fact. 8 minus 4, because it's a doubles fact. 8 minus 4 leaves you with 4, and my 10s and 1s don't change. 553 minus something gets me 153. Let's count backwards for this one. 553, counting back is hard. 453, 353, 253, 153. How many did we have to count back? How many hundreds? 4. So if we take 400 away, it'll get me down to that. 5 minus 4 gives you 1. Same thing here. We need to go from 981 down to 381. So we have 9, and we're going to count back until we get 3. 800, 700, 600, 500, 400, 300. How much? 6. So 981 minus 600 will give you 381. Last one, just like up here, 827 minus something will just leave you with 27. What do we need to take away from here so that all we have left is the 27? We need to take away all of those hundreds because here's their 0. So we need to subtract 800. If you need to pause and catch up, you can. I'm going to turn to the next page. We're on 142 now. Make this a little bit bigger. 142. Okay. Now, what I suggest is, again, that you pause the video and then come back and check your work. We can use mental math, but they're asking us this time to use place value strategies. So we're going to use number bonds or arrowway. All right, 300 more than 215. So let's start with the arrowway. We'll do the arrowway, we'll do every other one, okay? So we're going to start with 215, and we need to add 300 more. So we could do it all at once and say plus 300, but sometimes that's hard. And if you don't want to do that, we can do it 100 at a time. So 215 plus 100, I'm going to just one more. It's going to be 315. I only added one of those hundreds. I have to add 3. So 100. 300s plus one more 100 is going to be 415. So far I've added 100, 200. I need to add one more 100. 400s plus 100 is 515. 300 more than 215 is 515. All right. The next one, I'm going to use a number bond. So again, pause video and come back and check and see if you did it the same way I did. So 300 more than something. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to use the arrowway for sure. 300 more than something is 668. 300 more than this number is 668. This number is less than this number, okay? 300 plus this equals this. So this is my equation. 300 plus blank equals 668. I have my whole and one part. So I would be subtracting. But the easiest way to do this with a number bond or arrowway, the easiest way to do this would be to do the arrowway and to count up. So I'm going to start with 300 and figure out how much more do I need to get to 668. So I'm going to start with my 300 here. And I'm going to add quite a bit, aren't I? I need to get up to 600. How many more hundreds do I need, do you think? From 3 to get to 6. 4, 5, 6. I'm going to need 3 more hundred. I'm going to just start right off the bat with 300. So 300 plus 300, 600. Okay, I'm not done though. I also need 68. So because I've got zeros here, that's a pretty easy thing to add all at once. So I'm not going to separate it by tens and then add 8 ones. I'm going to add 68 right here. So 600 plus 68 is 668. Now this isn't my answer, that's the whole. The answer is these parts up here that we added to 300 to get to here. So far we added 300 and then 68. 300 plus 68, that 68 is going to just slide right over those zeros, and we would have 368. 300 plus 368, or 300 more than 368, is 668. I know. Let's do our next one. 500 less than 980 is blank. 500 less, that means we're subtracting. Here's my subtraction statement. 980 minus 500. I'm going to use my number bond. I am going to separate my hundreds and my tens, because my hundreds I'm going to just go ahead and subtract first. So I'm going to take out that 900, and what does that leave me for my other part? 80. I'm going to leave that 80 there for now, and I'm going to go ahead and subtract these two. 900 minus 500. So I've got, oh, you can't even see my hands there. I've got 900, and I'm going to take away 5. How much is left? 400. So 900 minus 500 equals 400. Not done. I got to put my parts back together. We took that 80 out. We got to bring it back. And we have 400 plus 80 equals 480. That means that 500 less than 980 is 480. Are you with me? Let's go back to the arrow way. So something less than 987 is 487. So again, this is our whole number. This is a part, this is a part, because this has to be less than this. So if we have the whole and one part, we need to subtract. In this case, we could just count backwards, but the tens and ones aren't changing. So I am going to do this. I can either go backwards from 987, or I can go up from 487, whichever is easier for you. We haven't done any backwards, so I'm going to do one backwards, but it'll be the same as if you went from 487 up. Now, if you know how many hundreds you have to take away to get here, then you can do it in one arrow. But if that's confusing, we can just break it down and we'll take 100 away at a time. So 987, take 100 away is going to be 887. Take another 100 away. 800, take 1 away, it's going to be 787. We're still not there. We got to get down to 4, so we need to take another 100 away. 700 minus 100 is going to be 600. Closer. Let's take another 100 away. 687, take 100 away is going to give us 587. Oh, almost there. Take one more 100 away. From 587, take 100, we're going to have 487. Now, in order to find out what we have to subtract, what our other part is, we have to put together these numbers. This is what we took away. If you started at 487, you would have added 100 every time. So you're just going to add these numbers up that are on top of your arrows. So we have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. 500 less than 987 is 487. The arrow way is really like counting on or counting back, but with big numbers. And you don't always do it by ones. You can do it by tens, you can do it by hundreds, and you can go back and forth. If you're doing it in your head, that could get kind of confusing. All right, 2 more. 600 blank than 871 is 271. Oh, well, that's pretty simple. We just have to say if it's more or less. 600 more than 871? If I added 600 to 800, would I get 200? No, you would have to get a bigger number. So 600 less than 871 is 271. 400 blank than 444 is 844. Is it 400 more than 444 to get to 844? Can you add 400 plus 444 to get 8? Absolutely. So this one is more. I hope you were able to do some of that on your own and just click back to check your work. Keep working hard. It gets easier. See you next time.